You ever have a moment when you realize the universe has handed you the perfect enemy? Yeah, mine wore Lululemon and ran the HOA. If you've ever wondered how bad it can get, buckle up. Let's just say the HOA president's son once called 911 on me because I locked my own side gate. Their excuse, my yard was apparently a public path. I know. At least I got to expose a little developer scheme running through my fence line, but hey, let's start from the beginning. First, a quick question. Where are you listening from? I always picture someone hearing this while staring out at their own backyard, maybe wondering if they should just dig a moat and call it a day. Anyway, the whole mess started with a gate, my latch, my property. But before we get there, here's a snapshot. Our fence, 2 paint splatters, blue and red, because neighborhood kids apparently have strong feelings about paintball. That day, Kyle, the president's teenage son, screams into his phone for 911 because, get this, he blocked a public path. I tap the latch. Kid, it's a gate. The officer comes, flips it open, click. This is how gates work. I could have hugged that cop. I'm Kirk. My wife Pam runs our cameras and keeps our receipts. And then there's Karen Wilson, president of our HOA, Queen of the Covenants. That night she learned my yard isn't community adjacent, it's just mine. Why did it all start? Because I actually believe your yard is your yard, not a shortcut, not a BMX rally zone, and definitely not a place for other people's soda cans. Pam and I bought our place for the peace end of the loop right against a gurgling creek. Perfect. Buddy, our golden retriever, had space to run. Pam grew tomatoes. And me, I had a cheap lawn chair and a view of the water. For 2 years, it was perfect. Then the Wilsons moved in across the street, and it was like a cold front hit Cedar Crest Meadows. Karen wasn't a person, she was a phenomenon. Hurricane Karen, yoga pants, and an iron will. 6 months later, she's HOA president somehow. Suddenly, mailboxes had to be beige, decorations came down after 2 weeks, and if your garbage can was still out at 9:01 a.m. On trash day, kiss your $25 goodbye. Her son Kyle was a younger Karen extra acne dirt bike and zero chill. The kids found out fast that my side yard made a perfect shortcut to the creek trails. They'd barrel through spraying mulch, Buddy yelping as he dove for cover. That was it. I wasn't mad. Okay, I was mad, but I tried reason. I crossed the street, spoke to Karen. I explained politely. She gave me a smile, plastic unmoving. Boys will be boys, Kirk. They're just enjoying the community's natural resources. Not a resource, I said, it's my yard. Her smile didn't budge, but her eyes went cold. It's been an open path for years. Sure, and the moon's made of cheese. Then as she turned, she whispered to Kyle, keep using it. He'll cave. Okay, gloves off. If talking doesn't work, it's time for hardware. I built a gate, nothing crazy, just 4 feet of cedar with a latch, a padlock, and a hidden deadbolt for good measure. When Kyle and his bandits showed up, you should have seen their faces. They rattled it, kicked it. I sat in my office, turned up the music. Next time I'm grilling burgers. Kyle's outside screaming into his phone. 10 minutes later, police lights in our quiet cul-de-sac. Here we go. 2 officers. 1 young, 1 old. Karen already mid-stride, voice echoing. My son and his friends are trapped behind an illegal barricade. I walked over, Pam behind me, her phone already recording. I told the older cop, it's my yard, just want the kids out. Kyle, Oscar-worthy, is hyperventilating. We can't get out. The old cop. He walks to the gate, looks at both sides, sighs, a world-weary, I'm too old for this, sigh. He slides the bolt with 1 finger, opens the gate. This is how gates work. No words, just chef's kiss. Karen, livid, points. This is a public path. I point to my lawn. Perfect mower lines. Public path with my grass. The young cop snorts. The old one goes, ma'am, sidewalks are public. Backyards are hobbies. Karen cycles through shades of purple I didn't know humans could do. The cops leave with a warning about misusing 911, but the older one catches my eye. Real quiet. This might be over for us. But I get the feeling it's just starting for you. And he was right. For a week, not a sound. Karen glared every time she got the mail. You ever get the feeling someone's rehearsing your funeral speech in their head? Yeah. We'd hoped that humiliation would end it. We were wrong. Tuesday, a violation notice lands in our mailbox. Installation of unauthorized structure. $50 fine. The unauthorized structure. The gate. First I'm angry, then I'm ice cold. If she wants to play the HOA game, fine, but we're using the whole rule book. Pam made a new folder labeled HOA War. She's the archivist. I'm the stubborn one. Together we make a decent team. That night I drank bourbon and read the CC&R's 150 pages of legal glue. But there it was. Fences and gates allowed 6 feet max wood or composite matching style. My gate, 4 feet cedar invisible. I wrote back polite, formal, quoted the bylaw. Certified mail, of course. 2 weeks later, rejected. No reason, just a $100 fine now with a $25 late fee. Then the floodgates opened, grass half an inch too long, garbage cans out an hour late, $50 a pop. It was death by paper cut, systematic harassment. At night, Karen and her toad-faced friend Gary would patrol with flashlights peeking in windows. Pam caught them on camera. It felt like living under surveillance. So we built the wall. Not a real wall, a proof wall, big corkboard in my office. Every letter, every screenshot, every thread, every compliance check, highlighted sections of the rules. Pins, yarn, printouts, receipts. Like a detective movie, only dumber. Our neighbor Finley, an ex-accountant and king of sarcasm, saw what was up. He leaned over the hedge one Saturday. She once fined me for unharmonious wind chimes. She said mine were in B flat. I asked if B flat was illegal now, only on Tuesdays. And my porch mat was too welcoming. Pam stuck her head out. We're logging this, he grinned. Good. If she steps 1 inch on your grass, I'm calling it an incursion. The fines kept coming. Over $500 on the wall, threats of liens, foreclosure. But every time I looked at that proof wall, I dug in deeper. We were building a case, one miserable piece at a time. Then came the drone. One night, Pam's reviewing security footage and freezes. Kirk, look at this. Over the back fence, there's a drone red light hovering, staring into our yard. I wanted to run out there with a broom. Pam grabbed my arm. Don't. That's what they want. If you smash it, you're the criminal. She was right. We needed evidence, not a tantrum. Pam, bless her, seriously became an instant FAA expert. She figured out the drone model, then found every local and federal rule. Turns out you can't record into a fenced backyard. We logged every incursion, snapped high-res shots, caught the FAA number. 3 days running. Then we filed complaints, police, FAA, certified letter to the board with all the case numbers. Drone vanished. The fines kept coming, but no more aerial surveillance. A few days later, Finley showed up with cookies. Saw Karen's kid at the park bragging about his new drone. Said it could spot a grasshopper from 400 feet. It all clicked, the drone, the constant pressure. It wasn't random. We pinned new photos to the proof wall. Still, none of it made sense. Why obsess over our gate? Until Pam, bless her stubborn soul, went full internet detective. She found emails, plans, all buried in public records. Turns out Karen had made a secret deal with the developer Creek View Developments, selling access to the creek through what she claimed was a public path. Straight through our yard. Our gate. It blocked the developer's fancy eco-cabins from advertising private creek access. All the harassment, the fines, the patrols, the drone were about making us break. She'd promised the developer a path she had no right to give. She was getting a community improvement fund, Reed slush fund, and a finder's fee. She was selling us out. So now we had her, but Karen didn't know it. The next escalation, a red-lettered final notice: remove the gate in 48 hours or face a lien. The deadline Saturday, just as a thunderstorm was set to hit. That night, with every camera rolling, Pam and I waited. Midnight motion alert. Kyle and a friend, hoodies, bolt cutters, slinking through the rain. I ran outside yelling, caught them red-handed. Kyle shoved me, I slipped, hit the mud hard. Next thing, blue and red lights fill the yard. Same 2 cops as last time. Karen came running, robe flapping, shouting that I assaulted her son. It was a trap. The officer's face was already suspicious. I was soaked dizzy, and for a second it looked bad, her word against mine. Then Pam stepped onto the porch, tablet glowing. You need to see this. Video, Kyle and friend sneaking in, bolt cutters, me yelling, Kyle shoving. Another video, neighbor Finley's angle confirms everything. Then a third, best audio yet, from Sarah down the block, caught the whole thing. Clear as day who attacked who. The officers watched. Karen sputtered, accused us of editing. No one listened. Mr. Jordan, would you like to press charges? The look I gave her. I didn't need to say a word. Yes, officer. Trespassing. Criminal mischief. Assault. They cited Kyle and his friend juvenile court real consequences. Karen's face. If looks could kill. The war wasn't over, but round one was ours. The next morning, Pam and I agreed we had to go on offense. Her plan used their own noise rule against them. Gary's golf cart on patrol nights made more noise than a dragster. With Finley as our witness and a certified decibel meter, we caught them at 72 decibels 17 over the limit. 3 camera angles. The next day, I sent a formal notarized complaint to every board member. Karen got her own violation notice. The neighborhood was abuzz. For the first time, she looked small. Riding that high, we gathered signatures special meeting to remove Karen. People lined up to sign. Town hall was packed, standing room only. We showed the proof wall videos, even the emails about the developer deal. When the vote came, it wasn't even close. Karen was out. Her power evaporated. The air felt lighter. Of course, she had one more trick, filed a formal city complaint against our gate. Mediation at City Hall. Karen came in with binders and speeches about public access. I brought a single latch, just like the one on my gate, showed the property survey, demonstrated the latch. This is locked. This is unlocked. This is how gates work. The mediator got it. Complaint dismissed. Karen's last power move fizzled. After that, the new board refunded our fines. We wrote up a respect the gate policy proof before punishment rights protected warnings required. Kyle got a 5-foot stayback order. Karen put up a for sale sign. Peace returned slowly. Neighbors lingered. Finley dropped by with muffins. Even Buddy wagged his tail again. The best moment. Sitting with Pam, 2 iced teas, sweating on the post, her clipping roses, me oiling the gate hinge. She said, "After all that, it's still just a gate." I looked at her at our yard at the latch. "Yeah," I said and meant it. "But it's our gate." We toasted. The clink echoed. Peace finally felt earned. But let me throw it to you. Where's the line between standing your ground and becoming what you hate? Is fighting back always the answer? Or do we just become another Karen in the process? Would you have done the same or walked away? I want to hear your stories. Drop a comment. Tell me, when did you draw your line and who tried to cross it?